Hi everyone, are you struggling to understand Serum? Don't worry, you're not alone. Serum can seem complicated at first, but today I'll explain every single part of it in a simple way. By the end of this video, you'll know how to use Serum to make amazing sounds from scratch. Serum's sound starts with the oscillators. These are the parts that generate the sound. In Serum, there are two main oscillators, Oscillator A and Oscillator B. Let's break it down step by step. What is a wavetable? A wavetable is a collection of waveforms. Think of it as a list of shapes, like sine waves, square waves, and saw waves. Each shape has a unique sound. You can move through these shapes using the wavetable position slider. Imagine starting with a smooth sine wave. As you slide through the wavetable, the shape morphs into something more complex, like a jagged saw wave. This is what makes Serum's sound so dynamic. You can click on Basic Shapes. This menu opens where you can choose between hundreds of different wavetables to get something you're looking for. You can also load in custom wavetables by just dragging an MP3 or WAV file into the wavetable. And just like this, you have something unique. Let me explain unison and detune. Unison adds multiple voices to the sound. For example, increasing unison to 7 means you now have 7 versions of the same sound playing together. Use the detune knob to slightly shift the pitch of these voices. This creates a rich supersaw effect often used in EDM leads. Try this. Set oscillator A to saw, increase unison to 8, and slightly detune. You'll hear that iconic big room sound. Below the wavetable, you'll see a warp knob. Click the drop-down menu to explore options like Bend Plus, Bend, Sync, and FM from B. Bend Plus stretches the waveform, making it sharper. Sync adds extra harmonics by squashing the waveform. FM from B lets you use Oscillator B to modulate Oscillator A. This creates gritty metallic textures. Experiment with these modes to discover new sounds. Now I show you filters. Filters shape the sound by cutting certain frequencies. In Serum, the filter section is incredibly versatile and easy to use. Click on the filter section. You'll see options like low pass, cuts high frequencies, high pass, cuts low frequencies, and band pass, keeps only a narrow range of frequencies. Select low pass to make your sound smoother. Low pass filters are perfect for soft pads, while high pass filters work great for crisp leads. The drive knob adds extra energy to the sound, making it thicker. Resonance boosts the frequencies around the filter's cutoff point. Play around with these knobs to hear how the sound changes. And always make sure to enable both oscillators A and B to apply the filter to both oscillators. Now I show you modulations. Modulation adds movement to your sound. Serum uses LFOs, low-frequency oscillators, and envelopes for this. LFOs are like automated knobs. Drag an LFO onto a parameter, like the filter cutoff. The LFO will now move the knob automatically. You can change the LFO shape by clicking on it. This triangle shape is pretty smooth, or a square shape for abrupt changes. You can also link an LFO shape onto the wavetable position. This will make the sound scan through the wavetable automatically. Envelopes control how a sound behaves over time. ADSR stands for attack, how fast the sound starts. Decay, how quickly it fades after the initial hit. Sustain, the level it holds at. And release, how long it takes to fade out after you stop pressing a key. Use a short attack and decay with no sustain for plucky sounds. For pads, increase attack and sustain for a smooth fade-in. Now let me show you the Matrix tab. The Matrix tab lets you see and adjust all modulations. For example, if your LFO is modulating the filter, you can fine-tune its intensity here. It's like a control center for all your modulations. Let's now go to the FX tab. Let's explore each effect. Reverb adds space and makes your sound feel larger. Delay creates echoes. Try ping pong delay to make the sound bounce between the left and right speakers. Distortion adds grit and aggression. Select the tube or diode modes for warm distortion. Here is the compressor. The multiband mode is like Serum's built-in OTT. It boosts quiet parts and controls loud parts, making your sound punchy and loud. And here you have all kinds of FX you can play around with. The Hyper dimension adds stereo width and movement. Hyper creates detuned voices, and dimension adds depth with short delays. Flanger creates a swirling metallic effect by delaying the signal and modulating it with itself. The phaser adds a sweeping, spacey sound by shifting phase frequencies. The chorus produces a rich, shimmering effect by duplicating the sound with slight detuning and delay. The equalizer shapes the sound by boosting or cutting specific frequency ranges. And the filter alters the tone by removing or emphasizing certain frequencies using various filter types. You can drag effects to change their order. For example, place the reverb after the distortion to avoid a muddy sound. Here on the bottom right section, you have these parameters: portamento, mono, legato, and velocity. Mono ensures that only one note plays at a time. The always option ensures that mono behavior is consistent even when sliding between notes. This prevents new notes from blending into the previous one, keeping your melody sharp. Legato allows for smooth transitions between notes if they overlap. Portamento controls how smoothly the pitch transitions between notes. Increase the glide knob to make the notes slide into each other. For example, a high glide setting is excellent for creating sliding 808 basslines or expressive leads. Velocity measures how hard you hit a note and can control various parameters like volume or filter cutoff. Drag the velocity mod source onto a volume level of oscillator A. Adjust the modulation range in the Matrix tab. Test it in your DAW's piano roll. Adjust the velocity bars under the notes. Softer bars will produce quieter sounds, and harder bars will produce louder sounds. This setup adds dynamic expression to your melodies. Macros let you control multiple parameters with one knob. For example, assign a macro to the filter cutoff, reverb mix, and wavetable position. Now, moving one macro knob changes all these settings at once. Now I teach you about the noise oscillator. The noise oscillator in Serum is a powerful tool for adding texture and depth to your sounds. Unlike regular oscillators, it generates noise instead of musical notes, offering a wide variety of static-like sounds such as wind, crackle, or hissing. The noise oscillator is activated by clicking the noise button. Once enabled, you can choose a noise sample from the drop-down menu, such as white noise for a classic static sound or AC hum for a more mechanical tone. The level knob lets you control how loud the noise is in your overall sound. You can decide how the noise behaves. If you want the noise to play continuously, leave the one-shot button off. For a single burst of noise that plays only once per note, enable one-shot. This is especially useful for creating percussive or transient-like sounds. Certain noise samples in Serum have a pitch, which can be adjusted using the pitch knob. This allows you to add tonal qualities to the noise, making it more musical or harmonically rich. Modulation options make the noise oscillator even more versatile. For example, you can assign an envelope to the noise level to create sharp, snappy bursts of noise at the start of a pluck or percussive sound. To use the sub oscillator, you first need to enable it by clicking the sub button. Once active, you can select the desired waveform. For example, a sine wave is perfect for deep and smooth sub-bass, while a square wave delivers a hollow, aggressive tone. The octave knob lets you adjust its pitch, and it's typically set 1 or 2 octaves below the main oscillators to reinforce the bass frequencies effectively. You can then control its volume with the level knob to blend the sub-oscillator seamlessly with your main sound. one standout feature of the sub-oscillator is its direct out option. When activated, this bypasses all of Serum's effects and filters, ensuring the sub-oscillator outputs a pure, unaffected signal. This is especially useful in bass-heavy patches, where clarity in the low end is critical. The sub-oscillator is most commonly used to reinforce basslines, providing a clean and powerful sub-bass that can anchor your mix. However, it's also useful in other contexts, such as adding warmth and depth to leads, pads, or plucks. And guys, these are all the information you need to know to design 6 sounds in Serum for yourself. I showed you the oscillators, the LFO and envelope tool, the filter, the stuff down here. I explained you all the FX. And also what the MARRIX tab is for. I showed you how to use the macros, the noise oscillator and the sub-oscillator. But let me reveal something really special for you guys right now. Last year I worked with my team on a crazy accurate Serum sound bank in the style of Martin Garrix. And I promise you, we came up with the best Martin Garrix style Serum sound bank on the market. We even recreated the correct MIDI melodies to each preset. We released this pack on January 18th at 6 p.m. Central European Time. And if you want to have a VIP discount on release, click on the first link in the description and sign up your email to the exclusive VIP list. Let me show you a couple presets so you can see for yourself if that is something you are looking for.